Welcome to Traveling Kangaroo. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of Brazil, a country bursting with natural riches, vibrant culture, and immense potential, yet struggling to rise as a global superpower. If you've ever wondered why Brazil, with its vast Amazon rainforest, booming population, and rich history, hasn't quite made its mark on the world stage like China or the United States, this video is for you. Brazil's story is a compelling journey of promise and challenge, from coffee-fueled prosperity to political turmoil, industrial struggles, and modern-day crises. So, buckle up as we explore Brazil's path through the 20th and 21st centuries and uncover the lessons it holds for nations striving for greatness. Let's start at the beginning, the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Brazil was a land of vast resources and opportunity. Its economy thrived on coffee exports, turning São Paulo from a small town into a bustling business hub. The port city of Santos became one of the busiest in the world, yet beneath this vibrant exterior lay deep inequalities. Political power was tightly held by wealthy elites known as the coffee presidents, who rigged elections to keep control in the hands of rich landowners. Meanwhile, poor farmers, indigenous peoples, and urban workers were largely ignored. This heavy reliance on coffee made Brazil's economy, well, pretty fragile. When coffee prices dropped due to oversupply, the country faced some really serious financial crises. While much of the world surged ahead with industrialization after World War I, Brazil lagged behind, still dependent on exporting raw materials instead of building factories and, a strong local market. Another critical factor holding Brazil back was its stark regional divide. The wealthy southeast flourished with modern cities, while vast regions like the northeast and Amazon remained underdeveloped, lacking even basic infrastructure and healthcare. This split wasn't just economic, it was political and social too, creating two Brazils that struggled to unite. By the 1920s, frustrations really boiled over. Young military officers known as the Lieutenants revolted against oligarchic rule, demanding a stronger government, social reforms, and, less corruption. However, their movement failed to gain widespread support because ordinary people were just disconnected from these leadership struggles. Then came Getúlio Vargas in 1930, a pivotal figure in Brazil's history. Vargas ended the coffee elite's grip on politics and expanded government involvement in the economy. He introduced crucial social reforms, including minimum wage laws and worker protections, while pushing for economic self-sufficiency. But Vargas's rule was a double-edged sword. He mixed populism with authoritarian control, which helped modernize Brazil, but also weakened its democracy. During World War II, Brazil sided with the Allies and sent troops to fight in Italy. This alliance brought military upgrades and a spot at important international tables, like the League of Nations Council. Many hoped Brazil would emerge stronger on the world stage after the war, but that hope faded with political instability. After Vargas was ousted in 1945 and later re-elected in 1951, Brazil faced economic troubles like inflation and debt. His presidency ended tragically with his suicide amid scandal in 1954. Next came President Juscelino Kubitschek, who served from 1956 to 1961. He launched an ambitious development plan, promising, 50 years of progress in 5. Under his leadership, Brazil built highways, hydroelectric dams, steel factories, and even constructed Brasilia, its futuristic capital city right in the middle of nowhere, which really symbolized new national ambition. But all this came at a steep cost. Soaring debt and inflation threatened the country's future stability. The 1990s brought a mix of hope and hardship. Fernando Collor de Mello was elected, promising reform, but soon resigned amid corruption scandals. Inflation skyrocketed to nearly 2,700% annually, wiping out savings and plunging factories to a halt. It seemed honestly like Brazil could barely manage its own finances. Then came Fernando Henrique Cardoso, a politician turned economist who, well, changed everything. In 1994, he introduced the real currency, which was tied partly to the US dollar and ended hyperinflation. Cardoso privatized state-owned companies and opened Brazil's markets to international investors. These reforms stabilized the economy and offered a brighter future. However, external shocks like the Asian and Russian financial crises in the late 1990s exposed weaknesses in Brazil's economy. The government eventually let the currency float freely after abandoning its dollar peg. Moving into the 2000s, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva became president and brought real hope to millions with economic growth and poverty reduction. His successor Dilma Rousseff continued this progress but was later impeached amid budget scandals tied to corruption. The massive Petrobras scandal shook Brazil's political system to its core, implicating politicians and business leaders alike. The economy slipped into recession after 2015 with GDP growth collapsing. The election of Jair Bolsonaro marked a new chapter filled with controversy. Promising to fight corruption and restore law and order, Bolsonaro's presidency was instead marked by divisive rhetoric, environmental destruction, especially accelerated Amazon deforestation, and a poor response to the COVID-19 pandemic. His tenure exposed deep fractures in Brazilian society and democracy. In fact, after Lula returned as president in 2023, tensions boiled over with Bolsonaro supporters attacking government buildings, a stark reminder that Brazil's democracy remains fragile today. So what can we learn from Brazil's story? Despite its vast natural resources and population size, Brazil's rise has been hindered by political mismanagement, corruption, extreme inequality, and failure to diversify its economy beyond raw material exports. The country's sharp regional divides and unstable governance have held it back from becoming a true global power. Brazil shows us that potential alone isn't enough for greatness. It requires visionary leadership, inclusive policies, national unity, and strong democratic institutions to truly succeed on the world stage. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Brazil's complex history and geopolitical challenges. If you found this video insightful, be sure to hit that subscribe button here on Traveling Kangaroo for more engaging content about countries around the world. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and visit our website at travelingkangaroo.com for exclusive articles and travel tips. Until next time, keep exploring with Traveling Kangaroo.